right, this is 2.4. We're only going to do 2.4. On your test and your quiz, 2.5 will not be included. So if any notes are from 2.5, I'm just going to exclude them. So don't worry about that you're missing something or whatever. Guys, you all know what slope is. Slope is what over what? Rise over run, okay? It's our y's over our x's. We subtract them. You guys have seen this a million times. We're going to go through slope quickly. If you get the order wrong, it will mess it up because we're subtracting. Y's have to go on top. All right? Now, think about this. If I have a line, what kind of a line is this? Horizontal or vertical? There is no, or it's zero slope is what we say. Slope means how much it goes up or down. If it's just a flat line, there's no up or down. It's a zero slope. What kind of a line is this? Vertical. This is a slope of undefined. The way that you can think about that is, can I walk? If I'm standing right here, can I walk across this line?
No, unless you climb.
Yeah. Can I stand here, and I'm not Superman or Spider-Woman, can I walk up this line? No. You can rappel or something like that if you have ropes attached to you, but you guys need to remember that. So our slope is going to be y over x, and we're going to subtract. So if I give you a question and I say, what is the slope of this line? The first thing I would tell you to do is write the points on top of each other like we did before. 2, 1, and then 8, 5. Label, these are your x's, these are your y's. Everybody with me? So slope is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in this case, guys, order matters in the sense of whatever you start with on top, you have to start with on the bottom. So if I say 5 minus 1 for my y's, I have to start with what number for my x? 8. 8 minus 2. If you guys did 1 minus 5 on top, that's fine, but what would you have to do on the bottom? 2 minus 8. Good. So on the top, 5 minus 1 is 4. On the bottom, 8 minus 2 is 6, and I simplify that. What does that become? 2 over 3. So my slope is 2 over 3. I go up 2 over 3. Up 2 over 3. Make sense? We good? All right, scoot on over. If I have an equation in the line, we're going to talk about 2 equations in the line. This is called point-slope form. We're not going to use this a ton, but you need to be aware of it. In point-slope form, this y right here that has a little subscript 1, and this x right here that has a little subscript, that's going to be a number in an ordered pair. The slope will also be a number. The x and the y will remain as constants. But this is given a point and slope. So let me show you how this works. If you have a point, they give you a point. They say this point is at 1, negative 3. What's my x? What's my y? 1 is x, and what's my y? Okay, and then they tell me that the slope is negative 1/2. If I use point slope form, and we're not going to graph right now, if I use point slope form, it's y minus, what's it going to be? Plus 3. Why is it plus 3? Because there's 2 negatives. Then it's my slope, which is negative 1/2, right? Times x minus what? All I did was plug in the point and the slope that they gave me. And then we just simplify. Like Peter just told us, this would be y plus 3 equals, what do I do with this negative 1/2? Distribute. So it's negative 1/2 x plus 1/2, right? Then I do what? I want to get y by itself. Subtract 3. So y equals negative 1/2 x plus, if I have there should be negative. If I have 3 and I'm taking 1/2 away, what does that leave me with? 2.5. So you can say 2.5, 2 1/2, however you want to say it. But in this case, what's my y-intercept? Negative 2.5, so it's in between negative 2 and negative 3. And what's my slope? Negative 1/2, okay? If I had to write the equation of a line given two things, with our point slope form, guys, what do we need? We need a point and what? Okay, they gave me, you can use either point you want, but what do I have to find? I would find the slope first, so negative 1, 2, 3, negative 4. So it's y over x. I'm going to say negative 4 minus 2. You guys agree with me? So then what? 3 minus negative 1 or 3 plus 1. So negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6. 3 plus 1 is 4. So my slope would be negative 3 over 2. Agreed? So then I would take one of those points and I would plug it into my point slope form and just figure out my equation of the line. Yep, I'm not focused too much on that because this is what we're more concerned about. How many of you have seen this before? Yeah, you guys, every time I say what's the equation of the line, you guys are real good with y equals mx plus b. Or if I say, what's the Pythagorean theorem? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. For some reason, those two things are what stick in your head the most. But in this equation, y equals mx plus b, what is m? It's your slope. And what is the b? Your y-intercept, where the graph crosses the y-axis. Great. So, they are telling you here, find the equation of the line with a slope of 3 and a y-intercept of negative 2. So, write down what you have. Slope equals 3. Y-intercept equals negative 2. So, what is the equation of the line? Y equals mx plus b, right?
So it's 3x plus negative 2.
Y equals 3x minus 2. Perfect, Ro. You guys want me to put a ton of those on the test, right?
Yeah.
Do you think I will?
No.
Nope, because I'm mean.
Probably put one of them on there.
But maybe, if you're lucky. Too easy. I want you guys to think. All right, this is where the stuff from your test is going to come from. This is in almost standard form. Standard form, you guys have seen a million times. It goes x, then y, then the constant. I need, in order for you to tell me what the equation of the line or what the slope and y-intercept is, it has to be in what kind of form? Y equals mx plus b. So what I have to do with this equation is move stuff around so y is what? All by itself. Good. Very good. You guys can do this very easily. I know. What would I do, first of all, to get y by itself? Plus 2x. Connie, you have a question or you're going to answer? Okay. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. Perfect. Can I combine 2x and 1? No, that just becomes 3y equals 2x plus 1. And then what do I do to everything? Divide by 3. So you have y equals 2/3 x plus 1/3. So now you can tell me what is the slope and the y-intercept.
2/3 and y-intercept is 1.
Perfect. Perfect. You guys have seen this before, I know. Okay. This is super important. So if you have your notability, you need to write this down. The equation of a vertical line. Vertical line. Think about this. Here's my x. If I have a vertical line, it goes up and down, right? Yes? Yeah. What axis does that black line go through? The x. A vertical line is going to be x equals a number. For some reason, that's hard for us to get in our brain. A horizontal line. Think about it. If I have a horizontal line, what axis does it go through? So it's y equals a number. Whatever number it goes through. So if I had this, look, if I gave you these two examples, and I said, write the equation of this line. Pretend it went through. What is the equation of this first example?
Y equals 3.
Wait, what axis does it go through? X. So it's x equals what number? 3. What axis does the second one go through? So it's y equals 2. Ask yourself that question. What axis does it go through? When you say it out loud, that's what x equals. All right. This is super important. Super, super, super important. Right here. Parallel. What does parallel mean? Side by side. They never do what? Parallel lines have same slope. I know for a fact you guys have heard this before. Parallel lines have the same slope. So if I tell you the slope of a line is 2 over 3, write the equation of a line that's parallel to. The slope that you would use is what? The same one, which is 2 over 3. If we talk about perpendicular, okay, perpendicular looks like this. When they meet, what do they form? A T. It's like a little 90-degree angle. They have opposite, reciprocal. What does it mean when you have reciprocal? Yep, you flip it. Good. So let's do some examples here. I want the parallel and perpendicular slope for the following things. Okay, let's look at this one. I want parallel slope, and then I'm going to want perpendicular slope. What parallel lines have what? Same slope. So what's my slope for a parallel line to 4? 4. Quit looking out the window. What is the perpendicular slope? 1/4. And what else do I have to do? Negative. It's the opposite. What is our original slope? It's positive, right? So I need the opposite reciprocal. If I flip 4 over 1, it becomes what? Negative 1 over 4. You guys see that? So if I come here, I want the parallel slope and I want the perpendicular slope. What is the parallel slope to 2/3? 2/3. What is the perpendicular slope to 2/3? Negative 3 over 2. Good job. Okay, this one's not supposed to be tricky. What's the parallel slope to 0? 0. What's the perpendicular slope? Let's think for a second, because this is 0 over what? 1, right? If I flip it, it becomes negative what? 1 over 0. You're allowed to have that? So my answer would be undefined. If you have a slope of 0, you cannot write an equation of a line to something that is perpendicular. All right, parallel slope and perpendicular slope. What is the parallel slope to negative 4/7? Negative 4/7. Good. What is the perpendicular slope? Positive 7 over 4. We're good? Remember, you flip the sign, flip the number. So, these are the kind of questions. You'll have 2 or 3 of these on your test. I'm going to ask you for a few of them. I'm going to say, what's the slope and the y-intercept? So you guys can identify that. And then you're going to have to tell me if lines are parallel, perpendicular, neither. And we'll talk more about this tomorrow. But you're going to have to write the equation of lines. So if I have this, first of all, I want to know parallel, a line that's parallel. So if I have something that's parallel, my slope is going to be the same as the one I find or opposite reciprocal? Same. Remember that. So if I'm going to find the slope to this line, I have to get it into y equals mx plus b. What do I do? Subtract what?
5.
And what else? Okay. From both sides, right? Yes? Okay, so that goes away. So I have 6y equals negative 4x minus 5. Now what do? Divide everything by 6. So I have y equals negative what? Negative 2/3, 4 over 6, but 2/3 x minus 5 over 6, right? Now I have not answered this question yet. All I did was put this in y equals mx plus b. I want a line that is parallel to this. So I need a point and a what? Slope. Well, a parallel line. What is the slope going to be? Negative 2 over 3. Perfect. Negative 2 over 3. You'll have a question like this and a question like the next one on your test. And I will go over a bunch of these tomorrow, I promise.
So that's that one?
No, I got to finish it.
Oh.
So my point slope form, I say y, whoops, y minus, what's the y part of the point that they gave me?
5.
The y part, 2, equals, what's my slope? Negative 2/3 times x minus what?
5.
Where'd you get the 2 and the 5 from?
That point.
It's right there. You're right. Now all we do is just manipulate this so that y is by itself. So the first thing we need to do, and I'm not going to give you guys anything you guys can't handle, I promise. So I have negative 2/3 what? X.
Minus.
Negative and a negative is a?
Positive.
Okay, if I multiply these two together, 10 over what? 10 over 3. Good. And then I have one thing I have to do. Add 2. Where do I add the 2?
All at the end.
To the end. So y equals negative 2/3 x. Can I change 2 to thirds? Yes. This is 1 on the bottom, right? 1 times what gives me 3? 3. So 2 times 3 is what? So I have plus 16 over 3. Can you just leave it just like that? But looking at this, guys, are these two lines now parallel?
Yep.
Because they have what? The same slope. So on everybody's version of every test, you're going to have one question that says something like this. Write the equation of the line that's parallel. And then number 15 is going to be write the equation of the line that is
Opposite.
perpendicular, which we're going to do right now. So again, what do I have to do? Needs to be what kind of form? Y equals, slope intercept, good. Y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides and what? And the 5? Okay, so I have 6y equals negative 4x minus 5. Divide everything by 6. So I get y equals negative 2/3 x minus 5 over 6. Now the reason we had to do that is because I now want to write the equation line that is perpendicular. What is the perpendicular slope to negative 2/3? Positive 3 over 2. What's the point that they gave me?
Origin to 0.
What is that? Okay. That makes your work real easy. If I'm in point slope form, it's y minus, what's the y that they gave me? 0 equals what? 3 over 2 times x minus 0. Super easy. What's y minus 0? Y equals 3 over 2 times x is, right? 3 over 2. So that's it. But how do you know? How can you look and go, oh yeah, these two lines are perpendicular? If you look at the slope, one is positive 3 over 2, the other one's negative 2 over 3. Yes? We good? All right, so